You've asked for this, so today we're gonna be transitioning between scenes. I'm gonna show you an extremely easy way to do it, and at the same time I'm gonna show you how to create a very smooth movement. So I think this one is gonna be valuable if you wanna become a better video editor, and also if you wanna get better at what you do, you should hop on the last hours of the promotion for Motion Boost. Literally the presale for the pack is gonna be gone in hours, so I would highly recommend to apply the code SHAKE at the checkout while you can. Honestly, that pack is gonna give you a lot of spice to the video, and also it's gonna save you time. So with that being said, I'm just gonna show you how to create that dope animation. Alright, we're back in the software. Let me just show you the comp settings. Essentially, I prepared two assets for this tutorial and you can find them in the description. So basically we got a man scrolling and then we got a video editor. That's probably tired after 12 hours of work. So for starters, I'm gonna delete the video editor and we're gonna start off with this man. I'm gonna create a new camera. Let's change the preset to 28mm. I'm gonna hit OK. Then I'm gonna create a new null object and I'm gonna type in cam control. Now I'm gonna parent the camera to the null, drag it underneath, and we're gonna change the color. I'm gonna turn on the 3D on everything, and we need to set up this man in the right position. I think somewhere here should be fine. And before we do anything, I'm just gonna head over to the ellipse tool and I'm gonna trim his legs. I'm gonna hit F and bump up the feather, and we're ready to create the first movement. So I'm just gonna create a keyframe for position in our cam control 1, move it forward, then go back. I'm gonna select both, hit F9, go to the graph editor, and we're just gonna create a peak on the left. That's literally perfect. And now from this position, I'm gonna hit Ctrl D for cam control 1, delete the last keyframe, parent 1 to 2, and we're gonna create another movement. So I'm just gonna move it forward, and we're gonna grab Y position and move lower. Select both, hit F9 again, go to the graph editor, and we're just gonna create a peak in the middle, just like that. So this is literally an ideal movement. Now we're ready to drag our second asset onto the timeline, which is the video editor, and we're gonna scale him up a bit. Now I'm gonna do the same thing as before, so basically I'm gonna grab the ellipse tool and we're just gonna select the entire man apart from the bottom part of the image. I'm gonna hit F and bump up the feather, and we should probably go a bit higher with this. Okay, we're gonna turn it into 3D and we can open up the second view. I'm gonna turn off the action save, and here, as you can notice, we can actually drag him right where the camera is. So somehow like that, we could probably move him a bit forward and scale them up. Okay, pretty good. Just a little fix. And just to create a little bit of depth, I got an AE logo over here, so I'm just gonna scale it down. Then I'm gonna pre-compose, move all attributes into the new comp, and we're gonna rename it to logo. Then I'm gonna turn on the 3D layer on this. I'm gonna recenter and put it in front of the man. Then we're gonna scale it up. So as you can notice here, basically we got the first man on the top, then we're moving towards the second man, and we got a nice separation between that character and a logo. So that's how it's looking, and we need to kind of fix the position of that logo. I'm gonna definitely fade it in, so I'm gonna set a keyframe for opacity and change it to 0%. Okay, let's easy ease the keyframes, and we're gonna move it forward even more. Then also, as for these two characters, I'm gonna add tint just to make them black and white, and also I'm gonna do it for the second character. Pretty cool. Maybe let's add tint to the logo as well. It's giving us that dark moody vibe. For some reason I really like creating dark scenes. It just feels like it's easier because basically you're gonna be able to blend in more things together. And then as for that logo, I'm gonna add deep glow, and we're gonna bump up the radius, decrease the exposure. Also we're gonna add curves, and let's increase the shadows. Also we could add a little bit of movement to the logo, so I'm gonna hit Alt-Shift-P, move to the beginning of the layer, and just drag it a bit lower. I'm gonna select both keyframes, hit F9, go to the graph editor, and we're just gonna create a sharp peak on the left. Let's adjust the timing a bit. Yeah, perfect. We could probably duplicate cam control 2, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 2 to 3, and just get a little bit closer for extra movement. That way we're gonna be able to notice that depth between the character and the logo. Let's select both, and we're gonna apply the mid graph. Okay, it needs to be later. We can hit U for reference. Then also something I'm gonna do is open up the camera, transform, alt-click point of interest, type in wiggle, and in brackets 1.7, maybe 15. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll just extend that keyframe for a smoother movement. I'm gonna go to the graph editor, and I feel like that peak is a bit too sharp, so we're just gonna soften it out. Yeah, pretty good. Just as I'm looking at the logo, I feel like we could turn off the tint. Yeah, it might be a bit better. Actually, that blue with the black is looking pretty cool. And also I'm gonna hit U for that layer, and what we could do is keyframe Z rotation. So I'm just gonna set the keyframe over here. I'm gonna move to the beginning and play around with Z. Okay, now I'm gonna apply one of the graphs. And I'm thinking maybe we should create another movement just so you got a better understanding of how to switch from one scene to another. So for this, we're gonna actually utilize the man scrolling layer. So when it's disappearing, I'm gonna trim it and we're just gonna put it probably somewhere to the side of that character. So let's say we're gonna recenter and then I'm gonna grab him to the left. Okay, we could probably move him a bit further away with Z. So that's how it's looking. And then from this position, we're gonna duplicate 3, hit U, delete the last keyframe, and we're just gonna parent 3 to 4 and move to the left. Okay, I'm gonna select both, hit F9, go to the graph editor, and we are going to create a peak in the middle. So let me just quickly do that. Yeah, probably a bit sharper would be fine. And let's add another movement. We're gonna go for it. So I'm gonna duplicate cam control 4, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 4 to 5, and we're just gonna move closer to the man. So just drag the Z position. Maybe we should just have him in the middle. Alright, I'm gonna select both and I'm gonna apply the same graph as before, and let's adjust the timing. I'm gonna fix it a bit, and what we could do is select both, go to the graph editor, and I feel like a sharper peak would be perfect here. And we're just gonna type in edit more. I'm gonna recenter, I'm gonna turn on the 3D, recenter, and we can bump up the font size. All right, let's put it behind the man scrolling, and we're just gonna move it further away, just so it's behind him. Let's scale it up, and we could play around with rotation a bit. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna apply one of the text animations from Motion Boost. Let's go for the blink and adjust the timing. All right, so that's what we have so far. Let me just play it from the beginning. It's a pretty cool animation. I would definitely add the motion blur. I would also add something different, but I'm not gonna do it to you. Just gonna fix this real quick. I feel like it's too sharp. We're gonna do it like that and adjust the timing. All right, we got a perfect animation. This is really freaking smooth. So here you got the final result. Hopefully it helped you to understand how to transition between scenes. It's especially easy when you're working with a dark scene and you can blend in the assets together. So in that case, we use the mask feather and it worked perfectly fine. But before we finish, let me just emphasize that these are last moments, probably 24 hours left till the promotion of Motion Boost is over. So if you head over to the page below and you apply the code SHAKE at the checkout, you're gonna get 30% off. And like I'm saying, the presale is gonna be over in literally hours. Get it at the best price while you can, and without further ado, I'm gonna wrap it up here and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, guys.